Hey guys, welcome back to another amazing episode of Bitches Who Brunch. I am your head bitch in charge, Miss Bonnie Lynn, and as always, I have my beautiful co-host with me, Miss Rita Raw.
Hey everybody.
What was that? Like, I was like, oh my God, when are we gonna get on the screen? The countdown was doing like a weird thing. Was it doing it
Did
weird for
yours
you?
freeze too? Yeah, I
Okay.
was like, cause like when we hopped on, when it finally showed, I was like, is this real or is this still glitching? Like, I was like, are we here? Like, yeah, no, that kind of freaked me out. It got my anxiety going a little bit. I'm like, no, wait, when are we starting? Because it went from like 17 seconds, 14 seconds, 30 seconds. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what's happening?
Oh, mine didn't even do. Mine stayed at 30 seconds. I was like, you know what? I'm not just sitting here looking at myself. I'm like, I look so pretty.
Just grin and bear it, grin and bear it. That's
All
so
right,
funny.
guys. So welcome back to another episode. We have missed you guys. I know we missed last week. But we are back and we're gonna have a pretty good episode. This is gonna be a somewhat serious episode, a little bit on the serious side, but we're still gonna bring our flair with it. Um, so today we're gonna talk about past relationship trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Well, with that, we're also gonna talk about like how past relationships can affect your new relationships.
Yep. And can past relationship trauma affect your sex life? Or how does it affect your sex life? Because, come on, we know it can.
Yeah,
So, with that being said, guys, you know me. Let's jump right in. So, Rita, past relationship trauma.
I literally hate you.
No, you don't.
Okay. Past relationship trauma. Where do I start? Um,
Mhm.
girl. Okay. Hmm. Really, where do I start?
I
Okay,
guess
so
the most recent.
yeah, I was thinking like maybe like past two maybe that I can really think of. Um, so as we've talked about before, I seem to like navigate towards a little bit of the narcissistic ones. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I
yeah, they're your favorite flavor. Are you?
yeah, I fucking hate it. Like I love y'all, but I hate y'all. Like yeah, yeah, there it is. I
Red
got the
flag.
first one today. I know, I got the first one today. I'll take it. I'll take it. But yeah, okay, so one of them, for me, anxiety triggers for me because I have, we both do. We have anxiety, and what I guess what a lot of people don't understand when they get with somebody who has anxiety is there's like we're not needy, but we need certain assurances more than others. You know what I mean? Like we want the affection, we want the love, but we're not needy because we don't want you on us all the time. Like we're not like that, but we need some of those reassurances a lot. And it's because our minds play those tricks on us. So what I've noticed in like my past couple relationships is where my anxiety, my overthinking, can start to cause problems, or it was the other way around, where it was actually validated, but they made me sound like I was needy and crazy and something like that, and like that's that narcissistic shit that I'm talking, where they somehow flipped it on me. And there was just a few times, and all the same, it like had to do with my anxiety. I was at the time, it was really really bad, and they would, instead of kind of caring for me or trying to dig for what's the problem, like, do you want to talk about it, something like that. um they'd bark at me, they'd get mad at me for the way I was feeling. They would, like, I dated somebody who, when I would literally wake up in the middle of the night with a panic attack, like literally already in the middle of it, there was nothing I could do. Like hysterically crying, can't calm down, can't breathe. They would get mad at me because I would wake them up. Because by me being upset and trying to cry quietly to myself, they would get mad at me because I was waking them up. So I'd
Mhm.
get up in the middle of all this. I'd have to get up, go to the living room, like literally deal with it by myself. You know what I mean? And there's been times where that same person would, I would be kind of on the ground. Sometimes when your anxiety's bad enough, the ground is just like the most comforting place you feel, and you feel really down, really low. So like even a couch or something isn't good enough, yeah, you're on the floor, you know? And
Right.
they would walk right past me. They wouldn't ask me if I was okay. They wouldn't do nothing. I'd be sitting there bawling, crying, couldn't calm down. They'd walk right past me like I was literally less than dirt. And so when I've noticed in like some of my new relationships, like sometimes when it comes to my anxiety, I feel like I have to walk on eggshells just because I have anxiety. So that's like a huge past trauma thing for me when it comes to relationships, because now I'm like, am I the problem? Is my anxiety the problem? Like, should I feel like I'm the problem because I can't help having anxiety? Like, I'm trying, like, so, but all that, like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? To have to worry about. And then, you know, it's just one of the, it makes you feel shitty, like, as a person, because, I don't know about you guys, but, like, I'm my biggest critic. Like I can be my most confident self, but I can also be my worst enemy. And anxiety on top of all that does not help. So I'm the hardest on myself, which is why when stuff like this comes up, like I'm all over the place in my head. I'm like, did I have to bring that up? Like, was that my fault? No, I was right to bring that up. Like, and that's that eggshell thing from the past relationship that just walked past me like dirt, never asked me if I was okay, got mad at me because I'd wake them up because I was crying and needed somebody. You know what I mean? Like, they got your partner, they're supposed to be there for you. But no, I didn't get that. So now when my anxiety triggers, I feel like I'm the problem. And like that's horrible. And I have a lot of friends that have anxiety too, that they've been in relationships where that happened with them too. So it's this eggshell thing, and it's horrible. It's ugly. It's an ugly feeling.
So for you, your trauma is basically, how somebody else made you feel because of your, you know, where you're at with one of the things you struggle with mentally.
Yeah, yeah, and like, and I used to love this. When we would, like eventually once I was okay and I calmed myself down. Eventually later on we get into it because I'd call him out. I'm like, you didn't ask me if I was okay. You didn't. I mean, you literally, So of course we kind of get into it, and my favorite thing to hear was always, "You're fine. Just breathe. Just calm down." Like, oh, why didn't I think of that? It doesn't work like that,
Yeah,
like,
there's a way to say you're fine, everything's gonna be okay, you're okay.
just
There's a way to do that, and then there's a you're
that
fucking fine. Like
barking pissing me
you're
off
fucking
because of the
yeah.
way. Yeah, and that's why, like, it's ugly. So like because of my anxieties, I feel a lot of times like I have to tiptoe through my relationships, and like I have a guard up now where like my because of that, I have a guard up now where if I finally feel comfortable enough with you when it comes to my anxiety, I'm good. But if I don't, I'll shut down kind of in front of you. I'll still be me and I'll still talk and whatever. But as far as when my anxiety starts to kick in, I can feel it. I notice myself get quieter. I won't talk as much. I'll start zoning out because I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't want to. I'm afraid how that conversation's going to go. Like, and that's trauma. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's trauma on top of trauma, which is horrible.
Yeah. You see, and like for me, one of my past relationships, I guess where you get to like trauma, where like it kind of still stays with me, is like lying, like the lying in a like I was with somebody who literally lied about almost everything, like even small things, like small, ridiculous. Why are you lying about this thing? You know? And
Oh,
he would
like
be
this
like,
you don't even need to lie about. Like you're
yeah.
like the white lies.
I know you seen to me, looking at you, looking at me, looking at you, doing the shit, and you're still like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Yeah, yeah, but you did. So like in a quite a few, not even I don't know, quite a few, maybe like one, two of my past relationships where it was like really it was the lying, the lying part that kind of did it. And I think another one of my past relationship traumas, a big one, is when you meet somebody and like you fall in love with them and everything is good, and then all of a sudden it's like snatched, like just ripped away from you, and it was like then it leaves you wondering like was this true?
Oh, you
Did,
know, not that one. I can totally relate with. I
yeah,
had a relationship like that, and it's the not knowing.
yeah.
It's oh my God. Like,
So
yeah,
it leaves you wondering, like, did I get bamboozled? Did he bamboozle me?
like
Like,
was any of what they told me real? Like, was this
was it real? Was the love real? Was like the connection? Like, I cannot. I want to take a break real quick. Hi, Miss Roxanne. Hello for those of you
hello,
listening on
hello.
our podcast networks. I am saying hello to one of our listeners, Miss Roxanne. Um, yeah, it just for me that's what it was. Like, it leaves you like, was their feelings really there? Was it true? No, it had to have been true. I felt it. No, it was real. It was real. So that's kind of like that has carried with me like that. So I yeah, that's one of my biggest traumas, I guess you can say. And we do have a viewer comment on here from Mr. Joshua. Hey,
Hello,
Josh.
Josh.
Um, what if you know you have relationship trauma, but you keep going back to that? Is that the trauma or not learning from your trauma? Oh, that is a good question. Good question.
I think for
So,
a lot of people, it probably is a bit of both, you know. I know when I was always going back to the more bad part of my relationships, I know it was because for me it was a personal thing. Like, I didn't feel like I deserved better because it was just it was something in me. I didn't feel like I deserved better. I didn't necessarily want them. I didn't want what we had there, but I also couldn't get in my mind, I couldn't get better either because I felt like that, like if they're mentally better than me or something like that, that it puts pressure on me. Like, you know, like I feel like I'm not good enough for them. And it was this weird circle for me for a long time. And then as far as like my narcissistic thing right now that I tend to that I tend to go back to, I actually I don't know what that is yet. And I wish I did because I need to figure it the fuck out.
that's true. I want to highlight, we do have another comment from one of our viewers, Mr. Rob. Hey, Rob. He said
Hello.
there's comfort in the trauma. And that's just what I was going to touch on. Is going back to that trauma. Is it the trauma or not learning from it? See, some people find comfort in that trauma. Like they go back to it because it's what they know,
It's
you
all
know,
they've known.
yeah,
Hmm.
and it's just like it's a vicious circle is what it is until you finally break free from it. And some people, they just don't learn from the trauma. And I could some people it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call myself out. I'm calling myself out. I know I don't learn from the trauma because the trauma comes with a person that is surrounded in toxicity and certain red flags that I am extremely attracted to.
You're like, this is a
Uh,
problem.
so there is definitely not learning from your trauma, or there is, okay, so some people see, like, they could say like hope is sort of like a bad thing because sometimes people have hope that the past trauma that they are trying to learn from is going to resolve itself,
It'll
or that,
change. It'll get
yeah,
better.
it'll change, yeah, it'll do
Can't
all
be
that
like this
stuff.
the whole
So
time. Yeah,
yeah.
see, that's me. Like I'm like that in my couple relationships that I can think of that were like that. That was me. It's like, okay, they literally can't be like this the whole time. Like I've seen the good side of them when they're not being like this, and that's how I would convince myself. Like that exactly what you're talking about, that vicious circle. You know, it's like, man, like okay, I love this person. Like I know they're not like this all the time. So does that mean that eventually they'll not be like this? You know, like and so I would try. I'm not necessarily a full on like I'm gonna fix them because I don't
Oh
know
no,
that
not me. I'm Captain Save a Ho.
I
I,
I don't
I am.
I don't know that that's only I don't know that I believe that, you know, like because I feel I'm like really big on like if they're gonna change on their own for you, like you know, like
Right.
so it's like after a certain while you just have to kind of accept it's either they're starting to change, you can see it, or they're not, and that shit fucking hurts,
Yeah.
especially when you're invested, like that shit fucking hurts.
And it takes me a long time to get to that point, especially if it's somebody that I care about or that, I mean, that I care about, but if it's somebody that I love, like
Uh,
if I love that person, it's gonna take me a while, and when it finally does, whoo, child, not enough alcohol in the world. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going through it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna move us on to how does past trauma affect new relationships? Now, I'll go first on this one since I made you go first on
Oh,
the
will
last
you?
one. Yes, I will. I'm gonna jump right in with myself.
uh, with
So,
myself.
so I will say I dated somebody that was always their excuse as to why they couldn't treat me a certain way or why we couldn't be a certain way, because it was always like, oh, well, in the past, like this is when girls have hurt me, or like his past relationship trauma was a trauma for me to go
Mm,
through, because it
okay.
he brought that into the relationship with him. And no matter the amount of reassurances I gave him or anything else like that, it was still there. Like it was like every like, girl, when I tell you it got brought up so much. And I'm a very, like, for me, I'm a very understanding person. I understand past trauma. I do. But when you're not like working towards like getting over it or resolving it or anything, you're just like in a stalemate, that's when it starts becoming a problem. And for
Yeah.
me, that's
Then
what
you're
I
almost
went
using it
through.
as a crutch rather than anything else.
And I will
Mm,
say my past traumas, like in new relationships and stuff, they kind of just they make me, if something's too good to be true, it's not. But that, that's it's crappy to like think that, because sometimes there are just things that are like, oh my God, this really is like, wow. Like literally when you tell the story, you give people goosebumps and stuff like that, because they just like, it's crazy. I mean, that stuff
mm,
really does happen, but now because of what I've been through, it's like, and I hate it because I'm a huge hopeless romantic. I really am. I know I come on
same.
here, I talk a lot about swinging dicks and everything like that, but I am a huge hopeless romantic. So it kind of like, I- and I wouldn't even know if it affects new relationships. I think for me, it just it's just a little bit. Once I kind of like feel like someone's lying, like that kind of does affect new relationships for me. Like honesty and trust, that's a big one. And if I get a little hint that you're lying or keep anything or something's, off, then it's like, no, I'm on it, like right on it.
Yeah, okay. I can agree with that. Like the lying thing, or you feeling like they're holding something back from you, See, it's the holding something back, the not because I need openness in my relationship. Like now, like nope, I was gonna lie. I was about to lie to y'all because I was about to because I was
Red
about to
flag.
say
Give
yeah,
her a red flag. Where's my fingers? That way. Give her a red flag
because
this bitch.
I was about to say like I don't need to know everything, but then I stopped. I'm like, well, I kind of need to know a lot though. like
You lie. You a whole lie.
that's what because like um especially when like because when we date now, it's hard not to find people that don't have kids, or step kids, kids that so when other stuff starts coming into it, it's not just you and that individual person anymore. There's other people involved, there's other things, other people, other adults and stuff you have to deal with in relationships. Like that needs to be talked about. Now that's something that needs to be open. Stuff like that is important in an adult relationship. So openness, if you're not open with me about a lot of things, I feel like you're holding something back. I feel like you might be hiding something. Um, so I definitely like that's a big thing for me. And the not lying, because I can't honestly say I've had like a lot of lying type thing going on, but uh oh, I lost my train of thought. um
Because you were lying.
I'm, I was going to. That's why I was like, funny enough. Like I was like, I don't gotta know everything. Well, most of it though.
Red
um,
flag bitch. Yep, another red flag.
yeah. I'm like, but openness is a really big thing for me. Shutting down, if like, and this is also from past trauma relationship, if you shut down on me, that's a no-go for me. I'm not okay with you shutting down. See, and the reason I guess it makes me even more upset, is because I like I said, I have anxiety, so I shut down in my own way, but I won't shut you out completely. You're my partner, you're my significant other. If anybody's gonna keep me open and talking, or just not, not that the robot type shutdown. It should be you. But I expect that in return. Like, do not shut down on me. Do not shut me out. Do not, I can't do that. I cannot. So the shutdown process is a big no-go for me because I've had that happen in past relationships. So if I see it start to happen in any new relationship, or anybody that I start dating, something like that, like that is one of the biggest red flags for me. Like, I don't do shutdown modes. That's a huge no-go for me.
You see, another like traumatic thing for me, I guess, in the past is like any like if I don't get closure, I'm
Hmm.
traumatized. I'm traumatized. I have to have closure. And I know like some people are like, no, you don't have to have closure. You just have to no. No, no, no. I need closure. Just like I need all of my cabinets in my fucking kitchen. I need those damn hose closed. I need that closed. Okay, red flag me all you I take it. I'm all mad.
I'm like,
I
but I don't
just
think like closure is a bad thing to ask for. Like, and I was talking to somebody not too long ago who actually kind of said something that you said not too long ago, when you're like, some people say you don't need closure. Kinda. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do because it helps you move on. It helps you
yeah.
learn to move on without holding on to something that really hurts you. Like, are you gonna be hurt in the end? Yeah, because you wanted, obviously you were with that person for a reason. You wanted it to work out. It didn't. That's gonna hurt, of course. But closure, it's there for a different reason. It helps you move on. It helps that learning process not turn into something negative. Like, so I don't agree at all with people that are like, oh, they don't need closure. I do. Like,
I And I need that real closure. I don't need that fake ass. I'm only saying
telling
this
you what you want to hear.
because somebody else has told me to say it, or I have to say it. Someone's watching me like message you, or and that's another thing.
And I
Like
don't want to have
closure,
to try to get closure either, because then to me that's not realistic either. That's not real closure.
closure over a text message is not real closure. I need somebody in my face telling me, and I feel like, okay, all right, that okay,
Like, did it hurt? Yeah, but
got
you
it.
said what I needed to hear. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
bittersweet.
that's like another like trauma thing for me. If I think like there was going to be like an end to something, I got to know why. Like you know what I mean? And that's
Hmm.
it. But I give that in return. Like for me, if it's
Oh
just not
yeah,
there,
yeah.
like I will definitely say why. It's never going to be like a guessing game. I
Mhm.
guess you could say. But so can past trauma affect your sex life? And trauma, it could be any kind of trauma. Like and it really like for some people, past trauma is just as simple as I fell deeply in love and got my heart broken. Like that's
Yeah,
their trauma. Like
yeah.
so can that affect your sex life? Has it affected your sex life at all? Any of your past traumas?
Mm, I gotta say, yeah, yeah. There's like certain things that I wouldn't do anymore for certain people if I feel like our relationship hasn't gotten to that point. There's times where, even if I'm starting to date you or something like that, like, I don't want to have sex with you, because in my mind, if I'm not at a state where I know I'm completely moved on from somebody else, I'm not gonna get involved like that with you, because I feel like I'm gonna fuck myself over. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, because and that's one of those things. Like, I'm helping you by helping me, because if we bring sex into it and we know it wouldn't just be sex, then we're both gonna end up hurt, because I technically, like, I like you, but I don't want to do this for certain reasons. And if I tell you that it's, oh, because it's a past relationship, well, now you're gonna feel some type of way. And so we, like I, unless I know I'm completely over somebody, I'm not gonna have sex. Like I'm just not.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So, yeah, getting away from that very quickly. One of our beautiful viewers, Miss Roxanne, had a question. She says, "Why is it so hard for us to accept a good person when they do something nice and we think they have ulterior motives?" Miss Roxanne, that is your past relationship trauma coming to haunt you, and anybody else that feels that way. That is why we do that, because you have either been hurt so bad in the past, somebody you have put your complete faith and trust into people, and they have repeatedly shown you why you shouldn't. So when a genuine person comes around doing it, we tend to second guess it, and we end up sometimes pushing away that person because of those past traumas. So I,
Very.
you know, it sucks because you got to work through them. You got to try and get, past them. And whether it's talking to your girlfriends about it, going out to brunch and talking about it with bitches who brunch, or, actually like seeing a counselor or a therapist or somebody to help you work through those past traumas, you got to do it some way. Because if that's something that you catch yourself doing often, then girl, it's time to work on it. But that's why we do that, because we have been jaded in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah, I agree. And I can admit to being like that a couple of times. Like there was really good men, that I mean, I knew and I knew that they were great men. It's just I couldn't do it.
Oh,
Like
and you see yourself being a bitch to them, and you're like, stop. But it's
like
just so hard.
there's just something that's not ready yet, something that doesn't click, something that and then you think about them later, you know what I mean? And it's not that you regret it, you don't regret not going through with it because you knew what you were doing in the moment, like you knew that you were not going to end up accepting them or letting them get that close to you. Your guard was too high up, your trust is too far down, you're all over the place, but when you're not good is and so you think about that person sometimes, but you don't regret it because you know that if you had gotten into it, they would have been the ones that got hurt.
I think sometimes if you let past relationship trauma, like if you let it just sit in you and just grow and stuff like that, it turns you into a narcissist at some level. It turns you kind of into the bad guy. So that's why, it's for all sorts of healthy reasons. You got to kind of try and let that go. But mine was, about past relationship trauma affecting your sex life. See, for me, I had someone in my past, and he would call me sweetheart. And now I don't want anybody calling me sweetheart. Like I can't, like it. I can't. I can't do it. Like
Baby
pick
girl is one
any
for me.
pick any other pet name except sweetheart, because I can't do that one. I would probably start crying.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but that it affect like that one affected me like that. As far as sex goes, I mean, yeah, definitely there have been where sometimes where I don't even like, someone has reminded me of, somebody that gave me some trauma, past trauma or anything, broke my heart or whatever, and they do like a certain thing like in the bedroom the same way or almost the same way, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, nope, we ain't doing that.
You're like, mm-mm.
No,
Yeah.
no. And then another way past trauma has affected my sex life is, quite frankly, it ramped it up. Like,
Mhm.
I am oh, my heart's broken, I'm gonna go fuck it out kind of girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See,
So,
I'm like
ah,
complete opposite.
there's
I'm,
my red flag.
yeah, I was like, I'm complete opposite, girl. Like, I'll shut down. Like, I don't want to fuck nobody. I'm like, I'm like,
I'll shut down on a dick. I'll tell you that
see?
much. I'm big fucking facts. Um, both of us. Why we both get it?
Oh no, wait, what did I do? Hold on. I said I'm opposite.
Red flags for everybody. Um, so I think that's in a way, like it just makes me want to hoe out. So if that's it affecting my sex life, then that okay. Okay. I'm for those listening on podcasting networks. I have come above Rita on red flags on this episode. Yay. Yay. We
Yes.
should do like a season counter of the red flags that we've gotten and see who's gotten
A
more.
whole season. That's gonna be a high number.
See who's gotten more red flags. But any of our listeners out there, viewers, we would love to hear how you guys feel, past relationship trauma. What have you guys been through? What do you still carry with you, if anything? Like, how do you try to come past it or work past it? Does it affect you in the same ways that it might affect us? We definitely want to hear from you. And I just want to say thank you to the people commenting on this episode today. You guys are amazing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so definitely that is literally how I deal. Like that's like I think that's like I'm trying to think of like what else. I mean, really, that's it. So like also, and this is more like, if the person that you're with that, gave you that associated trauma, if you still have feelings for them, like if you still love them or still have feelings for them, then it's like, as far as the sex goes, like no one else comes close. Like you find yourself comparing,
Mhm.
like, and
You know
then you're
what?
like,
Yes to that one. 1,000% actually yes to that one. And it's a problem, okay? Like,
red
like
flags
it's
for
like
everything.
it's like not quite like dickmatized because you were in love. It wasn't
Oh
just
no,
dick,
digmatized. No,
but
you digmatized too. All of it. It's double
well,
dick.
that's all, like that's like it's not just that though. Like, and that's what sucks. If it was just that, like, cool, whatever. Like, but it's not because there were fucking feelings involved. So now I love you, I miss you, and I'm not having sex as good as you, and you fucking know it. Like, so you start getting all mad. You're like, ugh. So no, actually, I agree with that. Like, you start you can't help but compare. If sex is not as good, then you're like, I think we're good. We don't got to do this actually. Like,
Or what if he went down on you really good, and then like after that, it's like, oh, I really don't need that from anybody else. It's gross.
yeah,
Eh.
yeah.
Red flag. I knew it was coming. Just slap me with it. Both of us were like, mm,
Yeah, like, and it sucks though, like, cause mm,
mm-hmm.
you can't tell them that. You know what I mean? Like the the person that's trying to talk to you or trying to get in your pants, and other way around. Because this is for men too. Like, I know men that feel the same way. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and like it, you can't look at a woman and be like, see my ex, she actually so when you Ugh, you can't do that. So you just gotta like it's like, what do you do? But see, I think that's why, like, for me, I think that's actually why my sex life for me, of it, like, after a serious relationship, just shuts down. Like, I don't want nothing to do with it. Like, I don't even want you kissing me. Like, I don't wait. Like, don't be sweet. Oh, you know what? That's one for me. I don't like sweet stuff, right? Like, after I'm just out of a relationship, like, I don't like for you to talk to me sweet. Like, like, I it bothers me. And like, I don't want
Can't, your mom can't relate. I want it.
it.
I want all that shit.
I can't. I don't like, actually, I was talking to a friend the other day, right? Who he, and then funny enough, I think we were talking about past relationship type traumas. I think he was telling me about one of his exes and stuff like that, and I was like, we was kind of talking through it. And he was like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "So, whenever I'd try and talk to her, she'd respond to everything else what I was saying, full on conversation. But when it would like come to reciprocating the sweet stuff that I would say, she'd just ignore it like it was nothing." I'm like, ooh, like in my mind, I'm like, I like that. Like I like so like I was able to obviously to give him, like good advice as far as like what was probably going on in her head. But like I realized like I'm like that. Like, and I don't necessarily know if that's like trauma or that's just personal, that's just me, but I don't like sweet stuff. It makes like especially if I'm just out of really, it makes me feel awkward because to me in my mind I'm like, the only person I want talking to me like that is the person who's not talking to me like that. So don't fucking say that shit. Like,
That
don't talk to me like that. You know
that's
what I
it. Right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So then like that's why I'm like, I just can't. That's why I think it's better when I just shut down for a little bit afterwards because I'm gonna end up being rude or bitchy to anybody new that tries to come into my life. Like, sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's just how I feel. Like, and like I said, like the one person that I do want talking to me like this is the one person who's not. So I'm good. I'm fucking good. Like, don't talk to
And P.S. We hate you, but we don't hate you. We still love you, but we fucking hate you.
me. Yeah, like it sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take that red flag. Glad. But definitely, guys, if you're out there and you are struggling with some kind of, past relationship trauma or anything, definitely try and, you know, do something to help yourself get past it. Try not to bring it into the next relationship. Have those hard conversations with the person, the new person that you're talking to. Explain it. Hopefully, they'll understand. And you know what? If they don't, then
They're not the one.
peace
Like,
out.
yeah,
They're not for
you have
you.
to both be understanding of each other's past. We are
Exactly.
not in middle school or high school. We need hard conversations are needed in relationships. If you're not able to have hard conversations, then literally not gonna happen. It's not gonna work.
Most definitely. But that is the topics we had for today's episode. I do want to remind you guys, if you are not following us on Instagram yet, please follow us on BS Who Brunch podcast. You definitely find our Instagram tags right here underneath where you go ahead, point at yours, because like I hate this stupid thing. I'm on. Yep, there it is. Meanwhile, I'm having all this problems. Spirit fingers. Yeah. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Go ahead and follow our Facebook page so you can get live updates on when we are going to go live. Next week's episode, we are going to be talking about zodiac signs. Who are the most toxic zodiacs? Which zodiac signs have the best sex? I know some people don't really believe in that stuff, but hey, it's all fun and games here. Yes, who are the red signs of the zodiac? I can tell you who's not one. Leos, we are angels. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Whoa.
So
Um,
you're not gonna want to miss next week's episode. It is going to be hilarious. Our producer thinks he's a cute little Pisces back there. Um, we'll definitely be talking about Pisces men and all of their amazing attributes. Um, Tune in next week, 8 p.m. Central. We do go live. Catch our episodes on every podcasting platform. We're talking about Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. And Rita, you got anything else to add?
No, this is Bitches Who Brunch. Thank you for being here for a little bit more of our serious episodes. We do like to do this. We're fun, we're spunky, we're very lively, but we know the more in-depth episodes like this are also
Yeah,
needed. So
yeah, we got to show you there's more to us than just amazing sexual talent.
yeah. So all the
However,
comments today were great. Like I liked it.
yeah, so if you guys would like to be on an episode as one of our guest hosts, we do have applications open for that. Just contact us. God damn. You know what? I'm gonna have one episode where I can actually speak properly, the whole episode. Contact us on our Instagram page and we'll go ahead and get you guys set up. And any topic ideas, let us know as well. So until then, we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.